Hello, welcome back to TechWise. I'm Kevin Bucher. I run the data analytics practice here at GreenView.
And I'm Mark Warren, and I run the application solutions practice here at GreenView.
Today, we're going to talk about GreenView. GreenView is our product that wraps Power BI in an easy-to-use, custom-branded interface that makes Power BI a little more intuitive and easier to use for your customers and clients, internally or externally. So we're going to talk about some of the typical challenges we see with Power BI, especially from an end user's point of view, some of the complexity around it. Then we're going to go through a demo of GreenView. So we're going to go through from a report viewer perspective, so that real end user, from a developer perspective, and then from administration, some of the features and functionality there. And then we'll answer a couple questions that we normally come across during an installation.
First, we're going to cover some of the challenges users face when using Power BI. Navigation can be complex. The user interface looks like it was made for a developer, not for getting reports to your end users. There's a dependence on IT. Many times we have to wait for IT to give the proper access and let the user know how to find those reports within Power BI. There's a struggle once they get that access still to find their reports. And then there's some branding limitations where the user interface really looks like Microsoft Power BI and not your company's branding.
So what does this actually mean in Power BI? This is the native Power BI site. And the first thing I'm looking at the top is a couple of banners that Microsoft puts out there for conferences, for whatever. Not something that you really want your users to see. But we're closing that. When we come in, there's a left-hand nav bar that, like Mark said, is really geared towards development. So OneLake catalog, building apps, monitoring Power BI, real-time analytics, things that are really built for developers, which is great to see more of this in the browser, but that's not the experience we're looking at here today. Not to mention, actually getting to a report is not intuitive. I've got all these things that are recommended to me, which may be applicable or may just be examples that Power BI thinks are helpful. And then once I go into a workspace, I've got data workflows, I've got reports, dashboards, semantic models, warehouses, data flows, everything that is great again, but it's not what an end user really needs.
With GreenView, we simplify the Power BI interface with an easy menu navigation so users can find their reports. We offer white label reports with custom branding using your logo and colors. GreenView can make reports easily available to your internal users and external users. And there's less reliance on IT to roll out reports in a secure manner.
So what does this look like in the browser? This is our GreenView demo site. This is the initial homepage with a splash screen. I'm logged in as Jane Doe, a user in the marketing department. So you can immediately see on the left-hand side, the nav is a hierarchical view of business terminology allowing me to get to the reports that I need to quickly and easily. There are no development concepts over here. I can view standard Power BI reports, dashboards, or paginated reports. And then it's as simple as clicking on a link. So that brings up a Power BI report. I can then interact just as I normally do, all the filtering, data export capability, popping out into a different window, showing as a table, filtering, so on and so forth. A lot of that functionality is customizable, as we'll show in the administration of the GreenView site. But it's from here, it's a very simple interface for a user to get to the data, explore the data, and get out. So in this window, I've logged in as myself, an administrator or developer, into the GreenView site. You can see I've got much more permissions than the previous user, so I can see finance, HR, other areas. And Mark will get into some of the administration behind roles and security around that. If I want to add a new report, I come into report definitions, click on add report definition, paste the URL of the report I want to add, identify that it is a report as opposed to a dashboard or a paginated report. The application actually figures out the workspace ID and the report ID. I get the option to select or deselect Power BI functionality, and we saw this in the previous screen, how you want the users to be able to interact with that report or not, depending on your use case. Click OK, and that will be added into my report definitions. From there, I can add that report into a hierarchy. So this report hierarchy menu allows us, as we saw earlier within marketing, to have different layers and subcategories within here. I can add a report, give it a name, select the report that I added. I'm just going to pick anyone there, the default page, and the roles that I want to allow to see or not see that report. I can also drag this report to appear anywhere within that hierarchy, which is a handy bit of functionality.
So now we're going to show the administration section of the application, how we apply security features within GreenView. Now, the first section I'm going to show is the company management. In here, you'll see our company, Greenleaf, as the default company. This can be set up for a single company to make Power BI reports available to your internal users, or you can set up multiple companies and expose reports to your customers. Within the company definition, you can specify which email domains for when you set up and map users to the company. You can specify a company logo and colors for branding within the site. You see, I'll open up Contoso, the fictional company. You'll see I've got their logo and a different branding, different application name, different colors. All of the features within the administration section apply to a company. So we can set different roles and security attributes based on each company and have all those schemas apply. The next section I'm going to show is report roles. Kevin briefly showed how this was applied to a report to show up in the navigation. So right here, I've got the Greenleaf company selected, and these roles are defined that we can apply users and assign them to users and show in the navigation. If I select the Contoso, a separate company, we can set up a whole different schema of roles to apply to users. Another interesting feature within the roles is these can be applied to users within GreenView, or they can be mapped to Entra application claims. So this can be administered outside of GreenView or within GreenView, depending on your use case. The next section I want to show is the administrative personas. And these are the permissions to this administration menu. Each of these sections in the administration menu has a read-only and a write privilege. And what we can do is personas allow you to group those privileges into a single entity persona group that can be applied to a user. When Kevin was showing a report developer, we can have a report developer role that would have access to manage the report definitions that he added and manage where those reports apply in the report hierarchy in the menu structure to the left. But that would be all that user would have access to. You see another one here as site admin. I've got every permission assigned because I'm a site admin. And in this case, I've actually mapped this to an Entra claim. You can do this at the persona level as well. And showing how this is applied to users. So within the user record, we've got our report roles. And this is a drop-down list of the roles that apply to the company you have selected, in this case, Greenleaf. and the personas the user holds. In this case, I've given myself site admin privileges. The last piece of the administration I'd like to show is the activity log. The activity log shows everything in GreenView that happens. Anything a user does within GreenView is logged to this activity log, from login to all of the admin functionality. Here in the first page, you can see all the activity that I did within the administration. And you can see here where I did actually open up a report a little while ago. A page back, I'll see where Kevin opened the marketing report and the Philadelphia crime statistics that when his Jane Doe user opened that report as well. This page is also the activity log is also downloadable to Excel, and where you can perform further analysis. We found it useful to look at what categories and subcategories within navigation are being used, which reports are being used. Maybe there's out-of-date reports that aren't being used for some reason or can be removed from Power BI. Next, we're going to cover some of the common questions we receive when implementing GreenView for our customers. Can I still use PowerBI.com?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, you will still use PowerBI.com. All of the reports are still housed in PowerBI.com. They have to be uploaded there. The developers still maintain a presence in PowerBI.com. And GreenView is really just a wrapper around PowerBI.com to make the interface and experience easier and faster for your end users. So the answer is absolutely you'll still be in PowerBI.com.
Will this work on an iPad or tablet? Absolutely. GreenView will work on any browser that Power BI works on. That's the simple answer for it.
So the Power BI licensing models that are supported are both the organizational level, where each user has his or her own Power BI license, and the capacity as assigned in Azure.
And how is security implemented with GreenView? So security relies on Microsoft Entra. Users will use their Microsoft Entra ID to sign in. We also support any third-party authentication method that Entra supports. The application runs under an app registration where roles are applied, and those claims can be mapped to roles that you saw mapped to the roles and personas within GreenView. Thank you for joining us for a demo of GreenView. You can learn more about GreenView at our website, greenleafgrp.com. You can click the QR code on the screen here. Be sure to follow us on LinkedIn and to subscribe on YouTube. Stay tuned for our next episode of TechWise in the near future.